This is an R Media podcast.
I realised that I had to have a relationship with myself before I could have relationships with anyone else. And doing that and being okay with who I am was the most important thing of me being okay as a single mother.
Marie Claire presents You're Gonna Want to Hear This.
Welcome back to You're Gonna Want to Hear This, a Marie Claire podcast. I'm Georgie McCourt, your host. Now, I first met Tash Sefton many, many years ago when I was working at another fashion magazine. At the time, she was running her own website and e-commerce business. We have stayed in touch ever since, probably because I have always loved her energy. She is warm, incredibly fun, super down to earth, and of course, very, very chic. A few years ago, when I was coming to terms with the fact that my own marriage was ending, I found myself sitting next to Tash at a lunch. She had just been through a divorce, rebuilt her life, and found love again. I think she was either newly married or about to get married. But what I remember most clearly is asking for reassurance that it would all work out once I got to the other side. She told me it would, and it was a chat that gave me that little glimmer of hope that I needed during a pretty tough time. Tash has spent more than 2 decades shaping the way Australian women shop, dress, and think about style. She started out as a fashion buyer and then became an entrepreneur and digital creator and founded the business Where Did Your Style Go? She has built a career helping women feel more confident in what they wear. But lovely Marie Claire listeners, as you're about to hear, her own journey has been just as transformative. In this conversation, we talk about career and motherhood and the experience of losing your sense of self. And she also opens up about the end of her marriage, navigating divorce with children, rebuilding her identity, and eventually finding love again. Yes, there is a very happy ending to this story in the form of a handsome Italian man. We're also going to talk about turning 50, walking away from parts of the fashion industry that no longer felt authentic, and why so many women reach a stage in life where they just no longer recognize themselves in their wardrobes or beyond them. This is Tash Sefton, and you're going to want to hear this. So, Tash, I want to start with how you found your way into fashion. I want to hear about those early days and what they taught you about ambition and confidence and resilience. It probably feels like such a long time ago. Not because you're really old, you are very, very young.
Thanks.
No, but like we go back to like those very early days.
Yeah.
Where did you start?
Well, my love of fashion came actually from my grandmother and my mum. And my grandmother when she came out after the war, she was a tailor and she worked in the best tailor in Sydney, and she used to make all her clothes and was immaculate.
Where did she come from? Where
From Croatia.
From Croatia, okay.
So even though she didn't have money, she was just immaculate. And then my mum, growing up, had the same kind of – she used to make all her own clothes, but then back then there wasn't designer labels here. There was like 3 designers. So there was like Chanel, Gucci, and then maybe like the 7th floor in David Jones was like where you could get designer things. So she would save up, buy a designer piece, and then make the rest of her outfit. And I was a little girl and I saw her doing this. Just a disclaimer, my dad's like a truckie. So you've got like, and he had 3
really
daughters.
Nice balance. Oh
so
my
he's
God,
got like, dad's a truckie. My mum's like this glamorous, beautiful, like tailored.
I've seen your mum actually on, I think, your Instagram account. She's very glam.
Yeah,
very
but she's
chic.
very, very subtle about it as well. And I think I also learnt the subtlety of fashion and that it's not about the show. It's just about the elements of the beautiful pieces. And that's, I think, where I loved fashion because I didn't learn it. I just saw her doing that. And then that's sort of been my whole journey, really.
But you must have had innate style because like you've always been so incredibly chic and just I feel like from my perspective, I feel like your style it's sort of stayed the same and that it's just very classic but cool. But it doesn't like I feel like 20 years ago I could still sort of your style hasn't it's just stayed very, very consistent. So you clearly have always had this like innate natural ability to style yourself and know what looks good and what doesn't.
Well, I feel like a lot of it comes from the elements of how you dress. And, you know, I also went to fashion school. That was really life-changing in terms of I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. And I was like, I'm going to go to fashion school. And my mum, she just not shake, like she'll be watching this going, I can't believe you're talking about that. So we used to have to make these originals every month or every term where you had to design something, make the patterns, and then you had to like model them. And I was really good at the ideas, but terrible about the construction. So I would come home and be making it and then go to sleep, and Mum would unpick everything that I did and refix it because she was mortified that that's how I was sewing. So I was terrible at sewing, had all the great ideas, and then was more probably interested in the business side of fashion rather than the actual designing. And then I started working for a really large retailer, General Pants, at the time, and General Pants was like everything.
That was growing up. Do you remember when they had the little angel and devil T-shirts? Do you remember those?
Yeah.
So I'd wear devil and my girlfriend wear angel, or we'd reverse, and then the like hipster jeans. Like General Pants was just
it was like the coolest
what you wanted
thing
to wear.
And people don't realize this. Like we didn't have brands back then. We had only Australian brands. We had the Strand Arcade, which was like the coolest labels. We had General Pants, and then like Surf. We didn't have Zara. We didn't have anything from overseas. And so we just had this, Australians had this amazing coolness that was very authentic to kind of our lifestyle. And then I was the head buyer of General Pants for many, many years. And the owners of the company, Phil and Jackie, were really nurturing, and lots of people who worked at General Pants have gone on to do some really cool things in Australia and started lots of brands. So I feel like they nurtured sort of all of these really cool people to do really great things. And during that time, we used to travel around the world. So I would go around the world 5 times a year.
That's like a pretty fun
It was
job
really cool
for someone in fashion to travel and work for a company like General Pants.
Well, because we were sourcing brands from overseas, and we used to just get on a plane, LA, New York, Paris, Stockholm. Like it was pretty insane. We'd be in Japan. We would be making all our denim jeans in Japan, and like it was very, very cool. But I think as well I remember my first day working at General Pants, I arrived in like a Dolce & Gabbana suit and everyone just looked at me like, what are you wearing? And then I remember I ran home and I was like, I can't believe it. I had my Dolce & Gabbana suit on and everybody just thought I was a loser.
Oh my God.
And then I think from then on.
Where did you get this suit? Was it your mum?
No, I think it was mine because I used to just like, my dad was paying me out about this the other day because I think I had like a $30,000 credit card debt when I was like 20, and he found out about it and he's like, right, you're going to get rid of that credit card and pay it off and stuff. I just go to Gucci and like buy shoes and handbags, and like I was a bit, I don't know.
Well, I worked at another fashion title in my 20s, and I also had a credit card debt, which I'm not proud of, and I now don't have a credit card because it's just, and I also don't buy the kind of things that I could never afford. I can't afford them now. I couldn't afford them back then.
We didn't have kids back then.
Didn't have kids, exactly. It was all into perspective, but it's just same. Like I was like taking myself off to Prada and Net-a-Porter and just buying all these things.
And I remember there was that store Marks.
Yes.
And he would import like all these brands, and I was just head to toe, like
There you
in
were
my
in your
20s,
Dolce
just
suit.
killing it. But it wasn't cool enough for General Pants. And then I quickly like got into denim and ripping things and stuff. Yes. So that was my entry into fashion.
So you then went on and you launched your own business. You stepped away from this incredible brand like General Pants and you launched your own business. And I feel like your career has continued to evolve and evolve and evolve. And we've seen so many changes in terms of initially you had a website and now, then we moved on to social media. And like, how would you describe the evolution of your career? And also, like, you've always stayed, like, your love of fashion is so clear and just has always, you can feel that through all your channels. So going back to how your career has evolved, how would you say it has?
Well, I think I married someone who was in tech, and so he really helped me turn my love of fashion into business. And I think that was like, we had one of the first websites in Australia. And I remember saying this to the marketing department at General Pants. It's all about websites, and it's all about kind of you can buy things on websites. And they're like, no, it's a fad. It's always going to be bricks and mortar. And I remember having fights with them about it. And I had just had my second child, Mac, and he was a baby, and I was on maternity leave. And they're like, are you coming back to work? And I wouldn't say yes or no. And then my manager saw me on the side of the road, and he said, are you coming back? And I was holding Mac, I remember it, and he was screaming. And I said, I'm not coming back. And it just meant that I had to do something, because then I had no money, I had no income. And so I think when you have no choices, you actually can do things because you have to make money, and you have to use all the talent that you have or the experience that you had. And so I think having that business was really quite incredible. But then, then you move on to something else, and then you use like the people around you to, I think I'm good at picking the gaps in the market, and then I kind of just go for it. And I also, I'm a bit of a tight ass. Like, I don't like paying for stuff. So I'll go, okay, I'm going to start a new brand or a new website, and I'll just teach myself how to do it.
But that's what I love about running your own business, which, as you know, I used to run my own business. There's no red tape. You can just give things a go.
Yeah.
If you fail, as long as it doesn't cost you too much money, it's okay. But you also, I taught myself, I went from working on a print title to upskilling in digital, which I'm so grateful for, because I knew nothing about digital before having my own business.
But maybe that's why you do it, because you don't have the fear of knowledge.
Yes.
That honestly is the way. And I feel like now it's really hard to start things, because there's so many people like doing really well, and it's like, that's kind of scary. But when you don't have any money, you do stuff. Yeah.
I think there are, if I think about businesses in terms of, if you launch a beauty brand, or there is so much saturation in the market, and I have no intention to launch another business at this stage of my life. Never say never,
Never say never.
Never say never, but it does feel scarier now, just because there is just so much in the market, and things are moving so fast with AI, and it's.
And I feel like the level has really enhanced. So, you have celebrities now launching their own brands, and that's really, really impossible to, be against, because they've already started. But maybe if you have a great idea and you don't have the noise, and you just do it. And I actually love supporting local brands who have just got a few pieces. They reach out to me. I just go, yep, I love what you're doing. I'd love to try it, rather than it being like this, well, I want something in return. And I think that people nurtured me in my way up through fashion. And so I still do that today. I still support lots of Australian brands, because I'm also really proud of them. Like, it's hard working in fashion.
Yes.
It's really hard. You don't make a lot of money out. It's hard. So I appreciate what people are doing. Yeah.
So now with your style, how would you describe your style, and what's the message that you convey to your audience every day through your socials and all your channels?
Well, something that I learnt from my mum is to invest in really classic pieces, because then you can wear them a lot of ways, and then you can style them back with much cheaper things. And, growing up, having children, I didn't have as much as I have some really nice things. I don't have the money to buy nice things for every occasion. And I actually think it's a challenge. So I love Uniqlo. I love H&M. I love little brands that are, just starting out. And you mix it all with your beautiful pieces that cost a lot of money, but they're so beautiful. They last. And I think that is a better way of dressing. And it's something that I always try and try and teach that through my audience, because it's not about having a whole lot of stuff, and it's not about having everything that's new and what everyone's wearing. It's just about the classics. And then you can add all the fashion stuff. Like you can have some really great shoes or earrings or something like that. And then it doesn't have to be like like everything is new. I love mixing fashion. I love, my eldest son is really he gets the fashion thing now, and I take him to vintage stores and he kind of looks at me and is like, why are we going in here? And then he gets it. We find like a great jacket and he can put that back with his J.W. Anderson Uniqlo jeans. And I love that. It's kind of like his kind of journey of him understanding what his style is as well, rather than just wearing what is like in fashion.
And actually hunting for something, like going out and it being an experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do you feel about, obviously most people have a love-hate relationship with social media.
I love
for
it.
yourself and me as well. It's a part of my work.
Yeah.
Like I've got friends who will tell me, like, I'm not on social media. I don't want to be on social media. I have to be on. It's a part of my work.
Yeah.
How, there is a negative side to social media, becoming obsessed with follows or likes, or what's your relationship? How do you have a positive relationship? Because it sounds like you do with social media.
I just don't let it control me.
Mm.
And I don't use it. I use my social media as a tool for educating people. So I don't use it to like sell something that I don't wholeheartedly agree with. I'm really careful. I don't, I get asked to do pharmaceuticals and all of these things, and I'm just like, if it's not something that I feel comfortable wearing or using, I will not promote it, or I won't have it on my channels. And I don't post all the time.
Yep.
Like I'm probably doing it all wrong because I don't have millions and millions of followers. But I feel like my
But don't you think
followers.
those days are gone? Like I don't think brands, you don't have to have millions of followers.
I think that brands want an authentic approach to what you're doing. They want something that is real and not something that is, the new thing all the time. Maybe certain age groups, yes, but I think my audience has grown up with me. So when I started my business, they were there. And I still hear from them. They're like, oh, my God, I remember I bought that. No. They're still on the journey with me. And they've been on the journey with me having children and, my whole life journey. And I think it's really nice. People's like my husband and my kids are just like, oh, my God. People will stop me in the street and go, oh, my God, hi, Tash. And my son's like, how do they know you? My youngest son, I think, has no idea what I do. And so when people come up to me, he's just like, that's so weird, Mum. Like,
who's that person?
I know. But it's really nice. Like, I feel like they're on the same journey with me and, they're having their same ups and downs as me. So social media is a really lovely way of communicating to people that you don't know.
It is. And like you say, they have grown up with you. They know they've been through every life stage with you. And we're going to get to
there's some new life coming.
A new life stage.
Yes.
Now, people talk openly about falling in love because that's the fun part, and it's lovely falling in love, which we are going to talk to.
And they use Instagram to talk about their love.
They do, but far less about falling out of love. So what was the experience of falling out of love like for you?
I don't know if I fell out of love as such. The thing that does help a lot is when your children and your husband are not on social media. That does help because nobody actually knows about your life.
That's people, you weren't ever a family brand.
No, and people probably don't know even now that I got divorced. Because it's not something that, it's not like you're having a baby and you go, I'm having a baby. It's not something that you go, I got divorced. Like it's a very strange thing. And it's also, we were really protective of our kids during that whole time. So,
because how old were they when you split up?
They probably, I think, like maybe 12 and maybe I can't even remember. It was a blur. My ex-husband and I'm really sorry to say, but we have done it very amicably, and I know that is not normal. And I know
it happened. And I mean, it's
was
the dream.
Well, it was the only way we were going to separate if it was amicable, because the kids were more important than us. I feel like that's the difference. And I said when we broke up, like we went to see my parents to tell them together, because we were worried that they'd get upset with us. Like, my parents had been married for like, what is it, like 60 years or something.
Oh, wow.
And then we were both like, we need to tell your parents that we're going to, but we're so scared to tell them. It was like, it's so strange. But it wasn't like, I know that my situation is not unique. But we did it for our kids. I didn't want the kids to be part of like a really messy divorce. And it wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, we got divorced and yay. It was difficult.
And I actually think, well, for me, co-parenting is like getting divorced. That was so clear in my head that I was like, that's the only way to go. But co-parenting, and while my relationship with my ex isn't perfect, I couldn't have a toxic like divorce where we were hating each other and yelling at each other, just not for the kids.
Yeah.
Like, I already felt guilty enough about getting a divorce in the first place. And I think it takes work, daily work. You have to keep going back to the kids, which is, it's not easy. And obviously, if you can stay amicable.
I just remember we went for a walk one day and we just talked about, maybe it's time for us to not be married. And there's lots of reasons, but we kind of decided together. And then we were like, how do we tell the boys? And they were little, and we sat them down, and I said and they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? We're like, nothing's wrong. A lot's wrong. No. We sat them down and we're like, we just want to let you know that we're going to separate. And the first thing both of them did was like, they looked at each other and they said, am I going to get an awful stepmother? Like, they didn't say anything about us separating. They just were worried about the stepmother. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, like, because all the movies and all the television, all the shows make divorce like this horrendous thing, and that you have an awful step parent or an awful, stepfather.
That was one of my fears, an awful stepmom for my girls. I was like, what if I get divorced and he gets a horrible girlfriend? He's got a lovely girlfriend. She's beautiful. But that, like,
well, yeah,
that's a fear.
It is a fear, but my kids were only worried about that. They weren't worried about the fact that we were separating. They were like, fine. They were more worried about the stepmother being like a witch or something with a big hat. But, and then, for them, look, I actually don't know. They're older now, and I do talk to them about it. I think they're okay. I think that they were more embarrassed about it and telling people that their parents were separated than like, oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world. When he moved out, he just moved out down the road. So he was still very close. And then the boys would go to him. And we've just made it like not a strict, just made it, whatever the boys want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. We're week on, week off, but like, if I want to take the girls or if he wants to take the girls, he can. So it's quite flexible. I think, telling your kids, that was like the worst. That was awful.
It's hard.
My girls thought we were sitting them down to tell them we were getting a puppy.
Arabella,
but
my
God. It's awful. Arabella, who's 13, she's like, yeah, Mum, thanks. We thought we were getting a puppy. I was like,
do you want a puppy?
You can have 10 puppies. But I mean, I just try and talk to them about it all the time, just check in and say, hey, how are you feeling? And even though it's sort of 2 years since it happened, I just want to make sure it's really open and that I try and stay as amicable as possible.
But I need to like really, just so people don't think that I'm like,
Gwyneth.
It isn't easy. It's, even though I have a great relationship with him, I do have to bite my tongue and I do have to go, okay, I'll pay for all of that. Like, I just let it go.
It's exactly the same as me.
And the other thing that I do is I never talk badly about him in front of the kids. Yeah. I never, like, even if, not that there's anything, but if anything happens and I'm just like frustrated, they don't know about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Smoke and mirrors.
So exactly. They'll say, Daddy did this. And I'll be like, did he? You know, my voice will rise slightly. But I'm like,
oh, that's lovely.
That's nice.
Oh. Yes.
Coming up, Tash shares what it was like falling in love again. Tell me about life after getting a divorce. How did it feel? How did you feel?
So I was married for 22 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I didn't clock that until I got divorced and then went, wow, that was 22 years. And like I was married for I think I was married when I was like 23 or 24.
I was going
to
say, you must have got married so young. And so then you would have already been together. So your relationship was a long relationship.
Yeah, we would. So how it felt after, it wasn't, I was actually I just wanted to be by myself.
Mm.
And I had to learn something. I used to do lots of kinesiology and lots of meditating to try and like get in a happy place. But I realized that I had to have a relationship with myself before I could have relationships with anyone else. And doing that and being okay with who I am was the most important thing of me being okay as a single mother, because I was okay. And I was adamant that I didn't want to meet anyone. I wanted to just focus on my kids and just make everything calm and just I was by myself.
Did you know who you were? Because you had been part of this partnership for so many years. You'd been, you know, part of this nuclear family, a mother and a wife. Did you feel like you knew who you were?
I think I probably, without knowing, was already by myself partway through my marriage, which is probably why we separated, because I became really independent because I was just coping. And I think, I don't know, I just remember just being happy, you know, just not happy, but like happy, like just within myself.
Did you feel free? Like I felt this enormous freedom and like just a content, like it's to feel content by yourself is a really nice feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And not having to have people around you all the time is really nice. I used to run a lot and it was like I was doing all of these things. I don't think I knew what I was doing, but I would run for like hours. I'd just run and I'd have like music like really loud in my ears. And it was just a way of me just like finding what my kind of settle life was. I had like people trying to like go, okay, so now you have to try and meet someone. And I was like, no, do not do that. I am not interested.
And also I don't like the narrative that you have to meet someone to be happy. Like I got asked the same. And I think it's people just caring and wanting the best for you. But it's like, I'm not leaving because I want to find someone else. I'm leaving because I'll be happier by myself.
Yes. But people don't have, like women out there.
Yeah, we love you. Yep.
People don't know who they are to have a relationship of who they are. And I think it sounds weird, but it's like be happy in the simple things of what you are. You don't have to be Superwoman. You don't have to be the perfect wife, the perfect friend. Just be balanced in who you are. And I had to find that when I was by myself.
I almost think though, because I felt the pressure when I was in a relationship and we would always have dinner parties and we actually operated a lot with other people around us, not ever really the two of us. But when I became single, I stopped obviously having dinner parties. I've got a few like gorgeous friends who would invite me and they'd be like, it'd be like couple.
To someone?
Well, no. It would just be all the couples because I said to a good girlfriend of mine, and I was like, apparently the dinner party invitations dry up. So she would purposely just always invite me. And I like, bless her, because I would sit there with all the couples who were all lovely. But once I was by myself, I didn't have the pressure of having to have these dinner parties or be part of a couple that I wasn't happy within. And it just felt freeing to be like, I'm not doing any dinner parties. I might have a few girls over, but that's it. And I can just hang out with my kids and not have to be part of sort of, I don't know, like the happy couple circuit.
Yeah. But then also I think my family kind of rallied around me a bit as well. So then as just like my sisters and my parents and the kids, they sort of helped me raise the boys as well. So it was like this lovely family coming together. So it wasn't like, and then, you know, with my ex-husband, he still comes to Christmas.
That's really
He
nice.
still comes to every birthday. You know, even his partners come, and all my friends are like, "You're so weird," but it's for the boys.
It's for the boys. Like,
Yeah,
it's for the boys.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so beautiful.
and it's fine. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's they. I think my kids don't really realize that we do this and how hard it is for people to be able to do that, but it's just normal. Yeah. So it's good.
So you were single and happy to be single and not looking to meet anyone.
No.
And then you stumbled across this Italian man. So how did you meet your now husband?
Well, after my fashion world, I felt like something was changing in the fashion industry and in what I was doing, and it was not making me feel very happy. There was just like, you have to have this and you have to do this, and if you don't do that, then you know you're just not going to be cool. And I wanted to step back from it, and I got into animal conservation because I couldn't deal with the noise around the fashion industry. And it was
It's
really
that purpose piece, right? Like,
yeah.
if it's not bringing you purpose, then you need to look.
Yeah, and it wasn't
elsewhere.
authentic. Like it wasn't about fashion. It was about what you had and what you were wearing. And that, I think maybe because I had just got divorced, I just didn't want that. And so I started working in animal conservation, as you do. And we were planning a trip to India. Well, I wasn't planning it, but there was a trip to India where they would, because the Conservation Foundation would work with animals all across the world, and then the people that support the projects were invited to come on this trip to see the work that was being done. And so there was a few animals in India that were the focus of this platform. There was a whole group of us. There was I think there was 10 of us, and from all different, it was really great because they brought people from all different industries, so banking, mining, food, like whatever, to come on these trips to see what the work is. And then they would fund programs and stuff.
Okay, so you went to India
Yes.
with this group of people to
Yep.
look at the animal conservation
Yes.
work. Who were these people?
They were very lovely people, and when we got back to Australia, all different age groups. That it wasn't like everyone thinks that when I say I met my future husband in India, they're like, was it in an ashram? And I was like, no, it wasn't in an ashram.
But he was there. He was
there.
He was one of the
He actually
people.
didn't even talk to me while I was there. Like because we had this bus and we'd get around on the bus, and because I get car sick, so I was always at the front of the bus. And so we really didn't, I think I probably spoke to him for like 10 minutes max while we were there. But when we got back to Australia, because we got on so well, we decided to catch up with everyone from wherever
As in
they
the group
were.
got on
Yeah,
so well.
yeah.
So it was, yeah.
So, and because they were from all different states, so we would come together like every month to catch up because we all just got on so well, had
And
a
you
great
had this
trip.
amazing experience
Yeah.
together, and you were passionate
Yeah.
about the same
Yeah.
things.
And that was it. Like, that was it. He lived in Melbourne. I'm from Sydney. Like, it wasn't like everyone's like, what happened? And
What
I'm
happened
like,
in
nothing
India?
actually happened.
We barely
it wasn't
spoke.
the Julia Roberts moment. Well, she didn't meet someone there, but anyway. And it wasn't until much, much later that he was building something in Sydney with his work, and he didn't have any contacts here. So he reached out to me and said, do you know an architect in Sydney? And I was like, yes. So put in contact with the architect, and like that was it. Honestly.
It was very friendly. Like,
Well, no, like he just wanted some contacts. So, and then it wasn't until much later I had separated, and it's like I said before, it's not something that you announce. So he didn't know I was separated.
You had a very different approach to me. I literally was like, I'm divorced.
Did you get like a T-shirt?
I got a T-shirt. And my boss, because I changed my name so quickly, she's like, Georgie McCourt, she's getting divorced, everyone. I'd be like, okay, maybe let's just like calm it down on the
I
announcements.
need to talk to you about the name thing. So I haven't changed my surname and I feel bad.
I did it literally like day 2.
But was it just a nightmare?
It's a nightmare. I still have my passport and my married name. It's logistically a nightmare.
That's why I'm just too scared.
But I needed my name back because it was like I couldn't control much, but that I could control. I was like, I want my name back. I'm going back to me. And also I was like, I'm not going to carry his name around, even though it's my girl's name. And that was a whole thing, not having the same name as my girls.
See, that's my problem, which is
that was
why
a big
I've
thing.
got the same name because there's a, Handmaid's Tale. There's a scene in
Yes.
Handmaid's Tale that they're at the airport and they're trying to take the children away from the family, and there were 2 lesbians and they had a child each, and they wouldn't let them take them because the name wasn't the same on the passport.
Okay, you're traumatized.
Do you know? And so ever since that part in that show, I was like, I'm always going to have the same name as the boys because I don't want them to ever take my children off me because my name's not the same.
Okay, right. I'm keeping my passport as is.
I know, because don't you see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it is like at the airport. At the moment we all have the same last name.
That's why I kept my name.
And I can be quite impulsive, so I just kind of did it really quickly and like changed it on socials and in the magazine, and yeah.
Okay. Well,
I
I'm
can't go back now.
still trying to work out because now I have 3 names.
I like the name Tash Sefton though.
I know. It's sort of.
It's a good name.
Yeah, but then Geneviese's kind of cool too.
That's a really nice last name.
But then my boys are like, I'm not having a hyphenated name. So there you go.
Well, they don't.
So
they can just keep their name.
They can just say it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry.
Okay. So he got the architect's details. Nothing.
Are you trying
more.
to find some sort of scandal?
Yeah, I'm like,
There's
okay,
no scandal.
Things evolved.
There's
Things evolved.
literally no scandal. It
No
was
scandal, but you somehow got from architect details to obviously a
hi,
lot further.
how are you going?
Yeah.
We went out for dinner. I can't remember. I probably should have checked this with him, but I think we were somewhere and I had said, by the way, I think we were again with the group. I'm separated, I'm single. And he's like, so am I. And I was like, hi. No, I didn't do that. I did not do that. No, I just
there
remember.
must have been a bit of bit of flirting? No, you just
No,
like,
because
cool.
he's so divine. You've met him.
He's gorgeous.
He's so not like a blokey bloke. He's very, very, he's beautiful nature, and he would never do that. Like, he is a gentleman. He's
very well spoken and like, yeah, a gentleman. I don't want to say respectful because of course he's respectful, but like, yeah, a real gentleman.
He's not like the guy that causes trouble.
No.
And so he was just like, oh wow, like, okay, great. He never even told me he was separated. It was just like it came up. And then because he was in Sydney for his new venture that he was doing, we used to just catch up. And then things happened.
And it's nice, I think, as well, like to catch up with someone who's going through the same thing, because you do, when you get separated or divorced, you often have a lot of friends who are still married. So it's also just nice to catch up with someone who's going through the same thing.
He was going through his divorce, which was very different to my divorce. And so it was just it just was a really lovely, it wasn't like, oh my God, hi, let's date. Like, it was just like a very subtle thing. And I remember we were at, he says to me now, I bet, I can't believe you picked me. I always thought that you'd end up with like some macho man. Like, and I was like, why? And we were at like a sushi, what's the thing?
Train.
We're at the sushi train and we're sitting there having sushi, and this guy comes out and sits next to me, and he's on that side. And he's like, hi, Tash Sefton, this guy. And Adam was about to punch him. I'm like, hi. And I knew him from like ages ago, and he's like fully trying to crack onto me at the sushi train while he's
your
sitting
husband's
there.
right there.
And then I didn't give him the time of day. But then afterwards, he's like, see, that's what would happen if I didn't come along. Like, you would have been picked
You'd
up.
be at the sushi train.
Oh, my
picking
God.
up.
But no, I was so happy to not be with anyone. Like, no one. I was happy to just be by myself with the kids and my friends and my family.
Well, it's almost quite nerve-wracking, like when you stop wearing a wedding ring. I remember I was like obviously I'm not going to get cracked onto on the street or anything, but I almost felt like a bit like I don't want people to know I'm
attention.
available. Yeah,
Yeah.
not that I was like
I don't think guys
getting
even care if you've got one
attention.
on.
No, that's
They
true,
probably
actually.
would actually ask you out.
Yeah, that's true. But it was always I felt a bit naked. I was like,
Yeah.
you know. But then see, I went through a big I dated, I wanted to date not because I wanted a boyfriend. I just wanted
Boyfriend.
some fun.
You wanted some fun.
I wanted fun. I wanted that period of just fun. But it was lovely.
Did you experience it? Did you have the fun?
Yes.
Oh.
But it was fun because I wasn't looking for a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So if I went out on a date and it was a dud,
It wasn't like you
It
were
wasn't like,
crying
"Oh,
for a
God."
week. Okay.
no, I was like, well, that was funny. I mean, most of them were divine and they were just really lovely guys. And I feel like it's just interesting meeting new people that I would never have had conversations with.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking for love, which is,
I think it's probably a better strategy.
yes.
Because when you're looking for love, I have people in my life now and I almost want to say to them, just stop trying.
yes.
Because I feel like, I don't know if it's an energy thing, but I feel like it comes when you don't expect it.
yes.
And that's the
yes.
lovely thing about it.
It really,
Yeah.
it totally does.
And that was definitely my reality because it just was like a whole new life. And I've just turned 50, which
I didn't know you had turned
I know
50.
because I didn't tell anyone because I'm in denial still that I'm
But
50.
why? Because I feel like
Oh my
life right
God.
now, you married this beautiful man, Adam. Your career has just gone from strength to strength. Why were you nervous about turning 50?
I actually don't know, but it gave me great anxiety to the point where Adam would go, okay, so what are we doing for you? Don't talk to me. And my friends would be like, what are you doing? Don't talk to me. And I actually, I don't know the reason why. Maybe it's the number, but I didn't want a bar of it. I didn't want presents. I didn't want anything. So
No celebration.
No. So my two girlfriends who I love and adore were making up conjuring an escape for me with my husband because he's like, we have to do something. She's turning 50. And I'm like, if you do anything, surprise, I will walk out. So then my two friends took
Would
me.
you really have walked out?
I think I would have. So my friends organised me to go to New Zealand with them to just take me away from, I don't know why, because we're going to a different country. I'm not 50. Maybe that's why. But it was so beautiful of them to do that because they wanted to, and they didn't do a big party. We just went there. They took me to basically just say, it's going to be okay. I'm taking you away from Sydney. And we just danced. We had loud music going. We would run around in the garden dancing, being like idiots, like school kids. And it was so beautiful because it wasn't about my birthday. It was just about us being together.
And friendship.
Yeah, and really beautiful friendships. And then I came back and my boys and Adam had filled our entire house with tulips. I walked in, there was tulips, every room had tulips in it. And I was like,
my gosh.
okay, it's okay. I can celebrate now.
That is
It was really
so
beautiful. Yeah. They were scared of me coming in the door and going, what is the tulips?
They're there with a party popper.
I know. I don't know what it is. I think, because I look back now and I actually think 50 is half your age, right?
Mm.
And so I don't know why 50 really terrified me because I have a new life now.
You really do.
Yeah. So I've had a really, as much as I'm not married to my ex-husband, we had children and we had houses and we had beautiful trips and stuff. So I don't discount that. But now I feel like I've got another life. And to all the people out there, I highly recommend it. Very controversial to say that. But I just feel like I have
But it's
a new
amazing
start.
because you picked your happiness. You have started a new life because we do only get one life.
Yep.
And you wanted to be happy. And it feels like to be in love, it's the most beautiful feeling.
And I didn't quite realize that until I found this love.
I am loving this chat with Tash, and that was part 1 of our conversation. Coming up in part 2, Tash Sefton shares what it was like finding love again and the biggest wardrobe mistakes women make, including the item we all own but aren't wearing properly. You'll find part 2 wherever you're listening or watching this episode. It's in your feed now. So for more stories of style and substance from Marie Claire, make sure to follow You're Going to Want to Hear This on your favourite podcast app. And if you prefer to watch in high definition, you can subscribe to Marie Claire's YouTube channel. And that way you will never miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you at part 2.